In today's episode, I'll give you 5 signs that you're shifting into 5D consciousness. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my YouTube channel or my podcast. I'm your host and guide, Will Caminada, and I'm here to help you awaken, heal, and expand your consciousness. This channel and this podcast is all about offering you guidance and support on your journey of spiritual self-mastery. So if this is something you're interested in, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or my podcast in whatever platform you use. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well at GuiWill, where I share exclusive daily content that you won't find here. So in the last episode, I debunked 4 myths of 5D consciousness. In today's episode, I will give you 5 signs that you're shifting into 5D consciousness along with this shift that we're already in. And just before I get into the signs, if you want to learn more about 5D consciousness, you can watch or listen to my 5D series. I'll put the link in the description or here in the cards, the playlist, and you can binge those videos. And you can also, if you want to go deeper, you can also sign up to my 5D program. It's called 5 times 5D. It's 5 modules. You have the videos, you have the meditations, you have the PDF, and it's available on my website www.willcaminada.com/5D, and the D is a small letter. Having said that, let's get to the 5 signs, and stay tuned till the end because there is a bonus sign. Sign number 1, you're having more compassion towards all, yet more awareness around setting boundaries. And this setting boundaries aspect has to do with being a sovereign being, has to do with sovereignty. And I actually have 2 videos that I talk about sovereignty. I'll put them here and the links in the description. So what this means is that your sense of oneness is getting bigger. So you're having more compassion towards people because you understand at a very deep level that the other is just an extension of yourself. And you can see that they're going through their own journey. And so you have more compassion also because you know that you've been in similar shoes before. Having said that, you are also tapping into your sovereignty. So you're no longer allowing people to take advantage of you or to mistreat you in any way. Sometimes we get a little bit confused with the whole oneness idea or the unconditional love idea. We have to accept people as they are and accept that they might not have the awareness to treat you in the way that you deserve, but this is also up to you. And so when you raise your vibration, when you have that sovereign energy, when you expand your awareness and you're tapping into your authentic self, people will feel that. Even if they can rationalize it or make sense, they will feel that. And if they cross the boundaries, you're able to acknowledge that it's your space and that you have compassion, you love others, but you also know that we are all individually in our own path at our own pace, yet this is all part of the collective. Sign number 2, you're becoming less triggered and less judgmental. Again, because your sense of oneness is now being embodied and it's more conscious. And I was careful to say less judgmental and less triggered because the idea that you're never going to be triggered or you're never going to judge is possible, but it's a little bit far-fetched in the sense that we are still dealing with a lot of 3D energy. We still have our 3D level of consciousness. We're still operating in a 3D level of consciousness, and we have moments where we are more in 5D, more in 4D. By the way, I have an episode where I talk about 4D, 3D, 5D, and I'll link them up as usual. I think that the threshold when it comes to being triggered and being judgmental, I think it is the awareness. The more that your awareness expands, the more aware you are when you're triggered or when you're judgmental, and you can shift the narrative, you can shift in that moment, and that's when the expansion happens again. That's when the healing happens again. So it's not that you're never going to be triggered by something that your mother said or your partner said, and it's not that you're never ever going to be judgmental about something, because your ego is still here, but the difference is that the observer self, which is your true self, is becoming more and more active. So if you're feeling like your awareness of the moments that you're triggered or the moments that your ego is more active, that means you're shifting into 5D consciousness. Number 3, you're loving yourself unconditionally and having more heart-to-heart connections. And 5D is all about love, oneness, and heart connection. You have a deeper connection with your own heart, so you're being guided by your heart. You're feeling heart-to-heart connections more and more, and that means you're healing your heart chakra. You're opening up your heart to having more experiences, to having more loving experiences, to having more connections that are based on true love. And that starts with you. So if you're on this journey of self-love, you're loving yourself more and more, and you're able, because you're filling up your cup, you're able to love others unconditionally as well. I always say that when you love yourself, you're actually loving the whole universe. And in that process, some people will fade, some people will arrive, some people will go, but it's all about the vibrational match, because your vibration is higher, your consciousness is in a different level, and there's no good or bad. When I say level, try to not think of a dualistic way of level. Is just that as you expand from the 3D level of consciousness, which is very limited, it's very ego driven, into a 5D, which is more loving, more spiritual driven, then your connections, your relationships, the world around you will change as well. Sign 4, you're trusting the process and becoming more patient. Yeah, and that is a very big one, especially when it comes to time. But if you're in situations in your life, you're feeling like you're trusting more, you're having more faith, and you're also more patient, because you know that time, as you know, is changing. The linear time is changing. So you know that there's divine timing, and you know that everything is always working out for you in the way that it's supposed to be, and it's always for your evolution, always for the evolution of your consciousness and the consciousness of the collective. And yes, it might be easy to say this and acknowledge this on a rational level, but the practicality of it is where the challenge lies. So if you're going through your life and you're navigating your challenges and you're feeling like you're trusting the process more, your faith is stronger, and you're more patient, you're not really rushing anything, it's not like the end of the world if something doesn't happen the way or at the time you want it to happen, then that means you're also shifting into 5D consciousness. Sign number 5, time and space feel different. It's becoming less linear. So again, it's linked to what I just said, the divine timing, and time as we know, the linear time, past, present, future, is feeling different. And I've talked to quite a few people, and they feel the same, that time has accelerated, and sometimes it feels like time is going really quickly or time is going really slowly. And I actually had a great conversation on my podcast with Cynthia Sue Larson, who is a quantum jumps expert, and she talks about reality shifts and time shifts and the Mandela effect. So I'll leave the link in the cards in the description below. If you're expanding your consciousness, expanding your awareness, your experience of time will change too. So in practical terms, what this means is if you're feeling more and more present and you're not caught up in the past or future, you're not worried about the future, most of the time you are present, you are okay, you are happy, you are content in this present moment, that means that time for you will feel different from all the people that are rushing and in the hamster wheel. And I say this without judgment because I've been there, we've all been there, we know people that are there, but it's just that the experience of time feels different according to your state of consciousness. And so it's only natural that if you're feeling that time is less and less linear, that means you're experiencing a 5D level of consciousness more and more often. And the bonus sign, which I think kind of encompasses all of these ones that I've mentioned, is that you're more and more aware of your multi-dimensionality and you're nurturing all of your bodies. What does that mean? You are a physical being, but you're also a mental being, an emotional being, and a spiritual being. And you have access to different levels of consciousness beyond the 3D level of consciousness. And so when you're living with that awareness that you are a multi-dimensional being, that means you are part of this shift already. You are aware that your spiritual self, your higher self, the spiritual guides, everything is available for you right now within. When you tap into your heart, and your heart is your multidimensional tool. So when you're living with this awareness, you're embracing your multidimensionality, that means you are shifting into a 5D level of consciousness. And so these are the 5+1 signs that you're shifting into a 5D level of consciousness. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments and share your experiences. Let me know which of these signs has resonated more with you. And again, if you want to learn more about 5D consciousness, you can watch my series on 5D consciousness, or you can also sign up to my 5D program on my website, willcaminada.com/5D. And as usual, you can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for being here with me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram @GuyWill, and I'm also on the app Inside Timer. You can find me under my name, Will Caminada. As usual, keep shining your light, keep your heart open, and let love lead the way. I love you. See you in the next episode. Bye.